It was sad too, because if you got to see what I got to see, you got to see the family as a whole. And over the years, the family was destroyed through Owen's death and through, we'll say, a little infighting with Diana and Bret over what happened with Davey Boy and Wembley Stadium kind of stuff, where there was just more of like Bret thought he did Davey a favor there, and seemed to be pretty hard on him after in his book years later about Davey having certain kind of like drug issues and things that I thought maybe didn't even need to be mentioned so much, or were not really true, and made it hard for Harry to have to go in and deal with certain things that were put on him by Bret, saying stuff about a guy that wasn't alive anymore. It's one thing if the guy can defend himself. I don't remember hearing Davey ever say anything bad about Bret, and I've heard Bret say a lot of bad things about a lot of people, and including me, and I've had some stuff to say about Bret on the other hand. We're saying just I wish he would have been smarter. It's all about being grateful, and if you can be grateful to the guys that helped pave the way for you. I'm always grateful that Bret was such a good role model for the stuff he was a good role model for. Like, fans all over the world love Bret the Hitman Hart, and made my job a lot easier traveling the world, even in jail, places where it could be scary, but I got to be Bret's nephew, and because I was part of Bret's family and it was accessible on the computer to Google me or check me out, I was part of that, I was protected. So I would say thanks to Bret for that, and wish he could have worked on some other things, but nobody's perfect, and I'm far from perfect, and I've made a lot of mistakes in my career, so the internet says, and trying to change it. I think I got a 10-year run left still. My body's in good shape, and trying to keep that Hart legacy alive, and make sure my grandfather, who did put a lot of time, energy, and effort and love into wrestling, and his family, that the Hart name lives on, and there's more people coming after us.
You were at Bret Hart's WWE Hall of Fame induction. Were you surprised after all he said and after he ridiculed Davey for going back to WWE that he ultimately went into the WWE Hall of Fame?
I was hoping he'd just get over it and go back even faster. I mean, I can't say that it would have. I can't say Bret's a hypocrite, because he did go. I mean, I wanted him to go back for the best interest of the family and personally selfish reasons. That if Bret went back, maybe I'd get a job. I mean, that's being honest. But I thought Bret should have went back way earlier. Like, instead of waiting so long to go back, it was too late. He ruined a lot of deals, man. And he never did anything to make it up. It wasn't like one thing. If Bret had done this, but Bret didn't play ball, but he played ball in all these other ways. Bret just sat around in a city where, because of what happened to him, he was upset, and he never did anything to help out anybody else. Yeah, and it hid, basically. And then after that, everything faded, and he never developed any wrestling in Calgary. Never opened up a school in Calgary. Neither one of his kids got into the business, which I think was a shame. So I don't know. That is one of those things where I think Bret needs to take responsibility for certain things that he did, and I think he killed wrestling in Calgary. Definitely didn't help it at all, and even in Canada, as a general thing, I think people were hoping Bret would step up, and maybe if he done like a Ring of Honor in Canada with Bret's brains and Bret's connections and Bret's money and Bret's ability to make people. I mean, people love Bret Hart. Never say they don't, but if you know that and you're that big of a superstar, please pass the torch on, and please help other guys, and please help wrestling itself, because you were a guy that loved wrestling and talked about wrestling and sounded like you cared about the direction wrestling was going in. That's what your whole complaint was with Shawn, that you didn't like the direction wrestling was going in, and you wanted to make it more family orientated and about great matches and moves, and not about fucking weird promos and weird characters. And then after you had that happen to you, just kind of dropped off the map. I understand the concussion and I understand the stroke, but I think those things happened because maybe he wasn't doing anything, and the stroke obviously they say came from the concussion. But I saw Bret get kicked a lot and hit in the head a lot. I don't know if that one kick specifically was maybe it was like accumulation of things and the stress of Owen dying and all that stuff that happened, you know, in a weird combination happened, and that's what caused him to have the attitude towards not doing anything with wrestling again, and then to come back so late after, and then being given an opportunity to do stuff with Raw or SmackDown or as a GM or whatever, and then kind of blowing that off, I thought definitely put a sour taste in WWE's mouth again about trying to bring Bret back and hoping he would have been more proactive in being a character on TV even to this day now. But I guess he doesn't want to travel much, and it's like, but I don't think the traveling first class in an airplane and getting picked up in a limo is that bad. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like, I think Bret's probably would be treated pretty good if he was on Raw or SmackDown as a character.
Were you at the Bret versus Vince WrestleMania match?
I was there, and I got cut out of anything there too. I don't know how or why. But I was supposed to kind of be involved, I thought. I mean, my whole family was there. I didn't even bother going to the show.
Even Bruce and
I didn't bother sitting in the audience because I got hurt the night before on Dragon's Gate, and then they had nothing for me to do anything. I had to pay for my own ticket. I was the only member of the whole family that paid for his own ticket. Everyone else got paid to be there. They actually got paid to be there. I never even got $1.